Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the Romantic Piano Concerto, Volume 21, featuring concerti by the all but unknown Theodor Kullak and Alexander Dreyschock. Yes, they make a perfect pairing, actually. There's no particular reason they belong together aside from their obscurity. They don't even sound particularly alike, but they were contemporaries, roughly. Dreyschock lived from 1818 to 1869, and Kullak from 1818 to 1882. Much the more famous of the two was Theodor Kullak, who was a major piano pedagogue. He established the largest independent piano school in Germany. It had thousands of students, and he was really very, very well known for his pedagogical works. He did not write a lot of orchestral music. This concerto seems to be his only work in the form. Dreyschock spent quite a bit of time in Russia before heading off to Italy to die of tuberculosis. But their style is typical mid-19th century run-of-the-mill German orchestral music. I mean, they're not as interesting, for example, as Ignaz Brühl, the friend of Brahms, who we just talked about. The Kullak concerto, I think, is the more interesting of the two here. Certainly the larger. I mean, it's 34 minutes as opposed to 24 minutes. It's a big virtuoso vehicle. The orchestra is reduced to the role of accompanist for most of the work. The pianist has all kinds of crazy stuff to do. The thematic material is not hugely distinctive. I mean, it's okay. All these concerti, they always get better as they go, because when the composers can relax and just write good tunes, and the concluding movements, which are usually rondos or something of that sort, we usually have a lot of fun. When they have to write sonata allegro first movements, well, then things get a little bit more iffy, because they're trying to work with material rather than just create beautiful melodies that we can enjoy, and some of them could do it and some of them couldn't. These guys were sort of on the couldn't side, although, like I said, Kullak is quite a bit better, and his first movement is a real allegro, not an allegro ma non troppo, as in Dreyschock. You always want more. You want troppo. Troppo everything is a good thing if you're kind of a second-rate composer. I don't think that this particular album is as essential as some of the others in the series, but it's part and parcel of what the whole series is about. So you can't say it's bad. It actually works best if you don't have to buy it separately, and if you can listen to it within the context of the entire, well, in this case, 50 CD first box, because then it all fits into place. And you can have some good stuff and some less good stuff, and you don't feel bad about the less good stuff. If you were to purchase this separately for full price, you might feel that you are not necessarily getting your money's worth. And it's not the fault of the performers. Piers is the soloist, and he is a splendid soloist. He's a wonderful pianist. He really is. Remember his disc of all the Saint-Saëns piano etudes, which is like one of my favorite piano recordings of anything. I mean, he's just a really sensitive, technically adroit, smart and musical soloist. And he is here. He plays the Kullak with all the fire and brilliance that you could possibly ask for. And the Dreyschock, which is much more Mendelssohnian and lighter in flavor. It bothers me. I have to digress. When we say Mendelssohnian and we associate it with lightness and frivolity, Mendelssohn was often light, that is true, but frivolous he never was. He just was not that kind of composer. His music has depth. The Dreyschock concerto doesn't really have depth. It does have that Mendelssohnian lightness, but not the Mendelssohnian depth. Let's put it that way. But it is in D minor. I mean, technically, it's also, believe it or not, get this, Opus 137. He was a busy man. He wrote lots and lots and lots of music, none of which anybody cares about for the most part. So I can only recommend this in the context of the series as a whole. I don't think it has a lot of legs as an independent release, despite Excellent performances from the BBC Scottish Symphony. Niklás Willen is the fine conductor. And like I said, Piers Lane, an absolutely first-rate pianist who's worth listening to even when he has second-rate material to work with. He really is. So there you go. It's part and parcel of the series. It's of its type, and none the worse for that. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.